Sanae Takaichi won the election as Japan's Prime Minister, the first woman to do so in Japan's history. It was the pinnacle of her rise in politics and a milestone in a country where women have long struggled for political high office. Takaichi, who grew up near the ancient Japanese capital of Nara, defies stereotypes. She once spoke bluntly about the challenges of working in politics as a woman in Japan. And yet, today she's the leader of the male-dominated Liberal Democratic Party and a male-dominated political system. She is now Prime Minister. She has expressed concern about Japan's reliance on America and its traditional partnership. She's also hoping to work closely with President Donald Trump. Sanae Takaichi is a protégé of Shinzo Abe, who is Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister, who was assassinated in 2022. In fact, she's expected to move further right of Shinzo Abe in response to a recent populist wave in Japan that bears some similarities with the MAGA movement which propelled the rise of Donald Trump. Takaichi has embraced hawkish policies on China. She's pushed the message that Japan is back, much like Make America Great Again. She's played down Japan's atrocities during World War II and promised to more strictly regulate immigration. Takaichi faced her biggest test yet as she met with the mercurial American President Donald Trump over his two-day visit in Tokyo. Ahead of that meeting, Trump had rattled Japanese officials with tariffs and open provocations that Japan should pay more for its defense. But the meeting between Takaichi and Trump went off smoothly, in fact, much better than both sides had expected.
I have always had a great love of Japan and a great respect of Japan. And I will say that this will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before, and I look forward to working with you. And on behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. I think you will be one of the great, everything I know from Shinzo and others, you will be one of the great prime ministers. I'd also like to congratulate you on being the first woman prime minister. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I want to congratulate you on that. I think that has to be called out. And you're going to do a fantastic job, and we're going to have a fantastic relationship. Thank you very much.
The leaders signed two agreements, one declaring a new golden age of U.S. Japan alliance, and another agreement to cooperate on expanding the supply chain for rare earth metals. But there was little sign of any breakthrough in the trade deal which both countries had signed back in July. There is a major point of contention in that trade deal between Tokyo and Washington, and that is how Japan is going to spend the promised $500 billion investment into the United States. That promise was part of the trade deal. In return for that large investment, Japan would receive a lower tariff at 15%. It also helped that both leaders focused on what they had in common, which was a very warm relationship with Shinzo Abe, the former Japanese Prime Minister, who also happens to be Takaichi's mentor of sorts. Takaichi even used the warm relationship that Trump had with Abe to gift him the late Prime Minister's golf clubs. That was a touching gesture.
実は安倍総理からはよくトランプ大統領のダイナミックな外交について話を聞いていました。タイとカンボジアの停戦に成功し、トランプ大統領はまずアジアの平和に貢献をされました。それから先般の中東における合意の実現もですね、これはかつてない歴史的偉業です。
Takaichi's prime ministership is widely viewed in Washington and in Tokyo as a continuation of the Abe Doctrine or Abenomics, one part of which is the pursuit of a free and open Indo-Pacific. The other part is printing cheap money and making economics affordable for the common Japanese citizen. Abe had laid the foundation for the Quad, which encompasses defense and maritime cooperation, with one clear eye on China as he brought together America, Japan, India, and Australia. As Abe's known protege, Takaichi has explicitly expressed her intention to emulate the Quad policies, particularly towards the Indo-Pacific. But Trump, on the other hand, seems to be retreating on the idea of Quad. Trump seems keen not on rocking the boat with China ahead of his big meeting with Xi Jinping in Korea later this week, where China and America are likely to clinch an all-important trade deal. Takaichi, on the other hand, represents one of the most hawkish figures towards China in contemporary Japanese politics. She has consistently criticized Beijing's military expansion, its economic coercion, and its intellectual property practices. She's also a strong advocate for revising Japan's pacifist constitution and to enable full-fledged national defense posture. She's expected to reinforce Japan's deterrence against China through tighter alliance through the Quad with powers like America, India, and Australia. In fact, Takaichi's assertiveness when it comes to China also extends to Taiwan. She has echoed Shinzo Abe's phrase that a Taiwan emergency is a Japan emergency. She has signaled her readiness for a more direct engagement when it comes to cross-strait issues. In fact, here again, Trump might be walking in the opposite direction. Reports suggest that Trump might even drop his support for Taiwan's independence in the hope of clinching a trade deal with Xi Jinping. In fact, Xi Jinping is the only major world leader who is yet to congratulate Sanae Takaichi on being elected Japan's prime minister, something that has not been missed in Tokyo or in Washington.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.